Welcome guys, thank you so much for joining in. So since the price of Bitcoin right now is flashing a very interesting scenario, I'm pretty much sure you also want to find out what is happening right now and also what kind of scenario could be unfolding next. So if that is the question, then please hit the like button because I am going to show you some very interesting scenario that could be unfolding right now here with Bitcoin price action in the immediate short term and in the upcoming days. So now without wasting any time, let's jump into the content. So guys, now if you start this analysis of Bitcoin starting in a weekly time frame and also add this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, if you look at the price action along with this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, you can see very clearly the actual bear market started only after reaching the top of this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve. You can see from 2013, 2017, and in our case, since we have said we do have some plenty of room to grow to the upside, maybe the actual trend reversal is going to start only after we reach the top of the channel. But before we reach the top of the channel, you can see we did had plenty of bigger pullbacks on our way before reaching the top of the channel, and only after that an actual trend reversal happened. Here as well you can see we started this new rally, but before we reached the top of the channel we did had some plenty of shakeout, and only after reaching the top of the channel we saw an actual trend reversal happening for Bitcoin. And in our case, since this is a pretty similar scenario, we are seeing some more shakeout. But as you can see, if this is going to play just like here from the past Bitcoin price action, then the price of Bitcoin in a weekly time frame still has plenty of room to grow to the upside. But if you don't want to look at this in this way, no problem, we can simply add this rising trendline scenario, which I have also talked already in my video. Because you can see here, if you simply follow this rising trendline, this rising trendline was a strong line of support, and as long as the price of Bitcoin was also above this rising trendline, the trend continued. Once we broke out of this rising trendline, right, only after that we started this actual downtrend. Now again you can see a pretty similar scenario also unfolded here. The price of Bitcoin was finding a really nice support at this rising trendline, and this rising trendline was also acting as a strong line of support. But before we broke out of this rising trendline, we also reached the top of the channel, and then we started this new downtrend. And now what we can do again is simply add this another rising trendline here to the upper direction, because if you look at this similar scenario, the price of Bitcoin is still following this rising trendline, and not just only the rising trendline, but also if I would add this 50 weekly moving average, because you can see breaking the support from this rising trend line after reaching the top of the channel, and also the support from this 50 weekly moving average, we got a perfect confirmation that now the trend is ready for this new downtrend. Here pretty similar scenario, came at the top of the channel, broke the support from this rising trend line and also support from this 50 weekly moving average, and then we had this price pullback, an actual pullback, right? You can see here. So in our case, since the price of Bitcoin is still above this rising trend line, right, and it's also above this 50 weekly moving average, so that's why we were saying as long as we are going to remain above this rising trend line and this 50 weekly moving average, that could be an indication the trend could still show some more room to grow here to the upper direction. So that's why guys, in a weekly, as you can see, the price of Bitcoin is looking very nice. So as long as the support from this rising trend line 50 weekly moving average is going to be there, the price could continue here to the upper direction. Maybe we could see some more shakeout. That's also one scenario you have to take into consideration. But if you look at this in a bigger frame, you can see there are plenty of room to grow here to the upside. If you look at this price action in a daily time frame, there is another very interesting scenario unfolding right now with Bitcoin. So guys, now if you look at this price action of Bitcoin in a daily time frame, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add another very interesting scenario for Bitcoin price action. Because if you look at this price structure here, this was a very nice falling wedge. Falling wedge in a downtrend usually breaks here to the upper direction, because falling wedge in general is also looked as a bullish scenario. You can see we broke out of this upper line area which previously acted as a resistance, right? You can see here it was a strong line of resistance. Once we broke out of it, we started this new rally here to the upper direction. Again, if you look in our case right now guys, you can see another very interesting scenario is unfolding. Again, another falling wedge just like here. We even had this shakeout, but price somehow managed to jump above it, and the same line which previously acted as support again held the price. And now since we are also breaking out of this resistance line, you can see here we are clearly above it. What could be the next possible scenario? Because yesterday when I showed you this example from falling wedge, you can see on the right hand side, if you look at this reversal pattern, this falling wedge occurs when the trend is heading in a downside, I mean on the downtrend, and it will also indicate a reversal, and this reversal pattern happened here. You can see, right? This occurred when the trend was heading here to the downside. And right now, if you look at this falling wedge, it is occurring when the trend is heading here to the upside. So according to this as well, the continuation pattern, this falling wedge is also indicating in an uptrend, they are known as continuation pattern, and in a downtrend they are reversal pattern. So according to this falling wedge as well, as I've already showed you on my yesterday video, the price of Bitcoin could be heading towards this price range of 51 to 52,000 here in the upcoming days. So this 51 to 52,000 is going to be our first price target according to this falling wedge. But what could be also playing out right now around this price range of 47 to 48,000 area? Why are we getting rejection around that price range? Let me also show you this very interesting scenario playing out right now. So guys, now again, if you look at the price action of Bitcoin in a daily time frame, I'm going to keep it very simple. So what we are going to do is we are going to take this Fibonacci extension line from this swing low till this swing high, because we can clearly see, guys, the price of Bitcoin right now is getting rejection after reaching this 0.236 Fibonacci extension line, which was lying around 48,600 to 48,500 price area. So that's why I said you on my yesterday's video, if we do manage to flip this resistance of 48,500, 48,600 into support, then there is a very likely scenario the price of Bitcoin is going to see this 50,000 range one more time before choosing an actual trend direction. Why? Because we know around this 0.5, which is around 51,400, we also have this monthly R1 line lying around from CPI, and which is also showing us the 51 price target for this October month, the first monthly target for Bitcoin. The reason, guys, I'm showing you this Fibonacci extension line is because we are expecting some sort of a continuation pattern to play out here in the price action of Bitcoin. That is the reason I'm using this Fibonacci extension line. And if we do see a bigger rejection around this 48,600 and price is not going to get another chance to break it to the upside, then we know to the downside, this 0.236, which is around 45 to 46,000, is also going to be extremely strong support for Bitcoin. So that's why, as long as we are going to remain over the 45 to 46,000, any sort of a shakeout should also not bother us that much, because this could still, right, even if you would see a shakeout, let's suppose, and price going to see a reversal type of scenario right around this 45 to 46, we could still form this inverse head and shoulder type of price movement and still continue this rally here to the upside. So that's why, guys, that's why right now I'm expecting the price of Bitcoin to be trapped between this 0.382 and 0.26 Fibonacci extension line for the immediate short term. And now if we look at this in a smaller time frame, let me show you another interesting scenario. So guys, now if you look at this price action of Bitcoin in an hourly time frame, you can see another very interesting scenario is unfolding right now with Bitcoin price action. You know, we did talk about this ascending triangle breakout scenario on my yesterday video, but right now, as you can see, we broke below this support line, right? This was a strong line of support. We broke below it, and when we try to re-enter this line, you can see the same line which previously acted as a support acted as a resistance, and now we are still below this lower line area of this ascending triangle. What does this mean, guys? If this is going to be a pullback type of scenario and we are going to see, let's suppose, another price movement here to the downside, let's make it very simple. You can see around this 46,000 is where we could be getting gravitated before again price starts trying to break here to the upside, because we know around this 45 to 46,000 we have extremely strong support lying around for Bitcoin. Also, according to this Fibonacci extension line, the 0.5 price target actually makes a lot of sense, because you can see here, if I would simply add this CPI indicator, you can see the CPI indicator is also showing us the first monthly price target, which has already been placed, because CPI is a leading indicator, and that is also lying around 51,336 areas. So guys, these are some of the scenarios I thought sharing with you in today's episode. If you enjoyed my work, then please hit the like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. Now, by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.